Hello and welcome to Pitt Resource Connection. Again, I'm Mary Smith, your host, and now we'll be talking with Gabriela Gonzalez,
Yes.
who is with NC Works. And tell us a little bit what you're doing there and how people are getting up with you and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, okay, as Miss Mary said, my name is Gabriela Gonzalez. I am the Veterans Outreach Specialist and Local Employment Representative for Pitt County and Beaufort County primarily. However, I reach out to other counties as well. Some of them are Bertie, Halifax, Hertford, Martin, and Northampton.
All right, so you're a busy lady, huh?
Yes, that is correct.
And your focus is on veterans, is that
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So you want to help them get employed, right?
Yes, help them transition, even if they just got out of the military, get them into a civilian job smoothly as possible, help veterans with barriers to employment, etc. We have plenty of challenges out there with some of the veterans that I'm here to help with.
What kind of challenges do you see?
Some of them are the homeless veterans. That's my primary concern, and those are number one on my list that I'm trying to get back into the reintegration to civilian world. The others are transitioning military, low income or no income, former offenders, even spouses of total disabled veterans I can assist,
Oh, okay.
which is also not generally known. Yes.
So what kind of employment do you find? I mean, are you out there drumming up with the employers to say, hey, I've got people that I need to put to work?
That is my plan. It depends on the veterans that I have, the skill sets that they have, and I'll try to match them with the employers. So if the employers are out there looking for specific skill sets, then I'll try to match it.
Okay.
So communication is the key, knowing about the positions is the key, and then connecting them is the other, and make sure that the veterans actually prepared for the interview, have the resume, and have the skill set.
Okay. So do they go through that career readiness certificate?
Some of them do, depending on the positions. Mostly the career readiness certificate is geared towards manufacturing.
Okay.
However, it is expanding to other areas. So even if you have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, sometimes the career readiness certificate is an added bonus,
Right.
believe it or not.
Yeah, I can believe
Yes.
it. You know, and it's something fairly new in the last 10
Correct.
years. And
Yes, it's now nationwide.
and so there's a lot of employers that require you to have this, which gives them an idea of what your skill sets are.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do the veterans and their families find you?
Well, usually headquarters are at the Greenville office. When they come in, usually the first question is if they are a veteran or a spouse of a veteran. And then they are filling out what is called a veterans intake form, and they'll ask certain questions and answer them. And if there are any barriers identified, it'll come to me, and then I will make contact.
Okay.
The other way I usually do it is outreach, connecting with other resources, the homeless shelter, Department of Veterans Health Affairs,
Right.
and some other resources that I usually connect with in the meetings. And that's how I also reach out or find out that veterans need help.
And for clarification purposes for people that are listening, is
Yes.
that NC Works is a Department of Commerce.
Correct.
It used to be known as the Employment Security Commission.
Yes, which has long died and gone to heaven.
And then some people thought of it as the Unemployment Service.
Correct.
So it's changed its name, but
Absolutely.
But you're doing
The focus is employment services. It's
Right.
no longer unemployment services. So the unemployment section has been taken out and
Darn
gone
right.
to another department.
Okay.
So we are Workforce Solutions, so it's focused on training and employment services and workshops and getting the job seeker ready to be employed and match them with skill sets.
What do you recommend to the veterans that come into your office to help them get the jobs they're looking for? Are there specific things that they have to do or could do?
Sure, because sometimes you do become set in your ways, especially if you've been in the military for 15, 20 years. you haven't interviewed, you didn't need to interview, you're going out there, a lot has changed, a lot is technology oriented, so it really doesn't hurt to just listen and say, hey, maybe I do need to brush up on my interviewing skills. Maybe now I'm getting nervous to be interviewed. What are the main questions? The resumes change, they're very dynamic, and you have to be up to date, so I try to give them those updates, the feedback needed, and even workshops that are provided that can also help them to say, hey, I haven't thought about this. This is a good tool to know to be prepared for the interview.
So do you train them with the what interview questions there might be? I mean, does that come from you, or do you send them somewhere?
Well, I do sometimes the mock interviewing. However, we do have a great workshop now that will cover that. It really depends on what industry, where they want to be in, how comfortable they feel. Do they want that assistance?
Right.
That is another thing sometimes.
So are most of the jobs manufacturing jobs that you're finding, or are they retail or professional?
I think the number one is manufacturing, and then right behind is healthcare services management. We have some human resource management, but I think primary is manufacturing, production, logistics. So there's an array. And again, it depends on the location and where I'm going and what the labor market is.
Okay. So do you find that the veterans have a more difficult time, getting employed after leaving the military than those that are non-military?
Not necessarily, because remember, we are trained already. So we have an on-the-job training when we serve in the military. So we are trained in that specific job. So really what they have to do is just transition and adjust to the civilian side of things. They have the skill set. They just need maybe the soft skills.
Right.
And get back into the structure. And hey, 8 to 5, that's it. We don't have a 24-hour duty anymore, and other duties added on. So getting adjusted is the key, and knowing the expectations of a employer.
Okay. All right, so what would be the steps for a person who's listening right now, who's unemployed or underemployed or unhappy in the work they're doing?
Sure.
They found a job, but it's not what they wanted to do. What's the first steps that they need to do?
Well, if they would like to come into, I call it the headquarters, Greenville, NC Career Center, complete a veterans intake form, even if they don't have barriers. If they would like to talk to me, I'm more than happy to talk to them and guide them in the right direction and give them some feedback.
Do they need an appointment ahead of time?
No, you can walk in. Now, of course, most of the time I'm going to be out and about, so I will contact you as soon as I get back to the office.
Okay, so they just need to come in and fill out the paperwork?
Yes, if they request that, hey, I would like to talk to a veterans representative, absolutely, let the front know, and they'll put it on my desk and I will contact them.
All right. And then the ball gets rolling, huh?
That is correct, yes.
All right. So are you finding that this program is becoming very successful with the veterans, finding them jobs to work?
Yes, there are. It is becoming very successful. It's all about how you approach it and what you do with it. You need to establish a rapport with the veteran, finding out what is it exactly that they need, focus on it, customize the services, and then they're on their way.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in and
Absolutely.
talking to us. We need to help our veterans as much as possible because they have served our country, and now we need to serve them.
Yes.
And make sure that they're taken care of. So if you're a veteran out there and you're unhappy in the employment you're in, or you're not employed, give Gabrielle a call.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please
Or go
do.
by the office. Where is this office now?
3101 Bismarck Street.
Okay, behind what used to be called the Beef Barn, right?
Yes, right there by Golden Corral.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
Sure enough. And thank you all for watching the Pitt Resource Connection.